All right. So this is a part of our this presentation today, this training webinar today is part of our ongoing yearly webinar series. We do one webinar a month on different topics related to digital marketing in the roofing industry. You know, we've done webinars on pay-per-click marketing, Google AdWords, on how to get ranked in the Google Maps section, on how to optimize the conversion rate on your website. Just an overall SEO strategy for 2019. If you want to check those out, you can go to our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type in Roofer Marketers. There's replays of all of those if you haven't been able to check those out already. And so today we're going to be talking about the Google local service ads and what they are. And in doing this, you know, I want to make sure that we have your full attention. This is going to be, you know, some great stuff. There's going to be some tidbits that you don't want to miss that will really make or break this for you and make this a successful marketing effort for your company. So if you get, you know, turn off your cell phones, turn off your Facebook. You know, if you're a roofing business owner and you're serious about you know, getting better results for your company online and maximizing the effectiveness of the Google local service ads, you know, give us the next 60 minutes of your time, and I, you know, I promise you that you won't regret it. So what we're going to cover today, first of all, we're going to cover what the Google local services is or are, what Google local services ads are. They're also referred to as Google Guaranteed. They used to be referred to as Google Home Services. And we're going to talk a little bit about where they're active, how the program works, and how you can jump on board if you haven't signed up for it already. You know, how you can jump on board and get set up in it, and what it takes to rank in the top 3 results. Google Guaranteed Google Home Services has 3 results on the first page of Google, on Google search, on the local search engine results page, and we want to show you how to best get into those top 3. And then also how you can take advantage of high quality leads at a low cost per lead, and then maximize your return on investment on those leads and truly win with these Google local service ads. So if you don't know much about us or who we are Brian and Jim, Brian Aline, Jim Aline, Brian Niebler. We're the co-founders of Roofer Marketers. We are also the authors of Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. You can find that on Amazon. We are also active members of the National Roofing Contractors Association. We're Better Business Bureau accredited. You know, we work with roofing contractors all across this country, from state to state. And we're widely accepted as one of the premier experts in internet marketing for roofing contractors. And this is what we do all day, every day. We only do digital marketing for roofing contractors. And we have a mission in our company. The mission of our company is to assist or help roofing contractors generate more sales through their digital marketing efforts. And we do that in 2 ways. We do that, one, through our agency, where we actually do the work for your company and do all the build your website and help get you ranked and run your pay-per-click advertising. But the other part of it is our education side, and that's our book and these ongoing webinar series and all of the training guides and material that we have on our website. So, you know, our mission is to help you generate more sales online through your digital marketing efforts. And that's what we want to jump into a little bit today. And I'm going to, you know, we're going to move on to what is Google local services. And I'm going to, you know, bring Brian in now and have him explain what Google local services is and where you can fit into that.
All right, how's everyone doing today? Yeah, let's get into what Google local services actually, what they actually are and how you can benefit from them. So just taking a look at this screenshot, you know, if you do any type of roofing search on Google these days in most cities, this is pretty much nationwide, you're going to see on desktop and on mobile these little 3 ads up at the top. They're horizontal. And you'll notice that most of the time it's going to be three companies. They can vary from, where you're searching from and all that sort of stuff, but they do sit above everything else on the page, which is why we're putting so much, there is so much benefit to them. We'll get into that as we keep going here. So, so if you take a look at these three ads up the top on this image, you'll see that it says Google Guaranteed underneath the company name. And basically what that means is that they have been Google Guaranteed, or they have been verified by Google. They've passed background checks, and they've done a number of things to get access into the Google Local Service ads. And because of that, Google is actually guaranteeing their services, which means from Google's perspective that if they complete a job and it's not up to par, the customer actually can come back to Google and complain, and Google will actually give them a refund up to a certain amount. So that's why that little check mark that says Google Guaranteed, it's highly beneficial to the contractor. First off, it makes them a trusted, verified source to for a homeowner to go and request an estimate and inspection from. But it also does allow Google to guarantee that job to the homeowner as well. And then the numbers that are underneath that for each business, that's typically not going to be your actual business phone number. It's going to be a tracking number that Google puts in there so they can track the amount of leads and calls that actually come into your business. Go on to the next slide here. So when you actually click on one of those three ads that are at the top, the Google Local Service ads, it's going to actually open up a second screen, and it's going to give you a little more information about the company that you just clicked on, or the roofing company that you just clicked on. It's going to provide, all their contact information. It's going to give you kind of an overview of what services they actually provide. The little bio. Are they Better Business Bureau accredited? Do they offer financing? Stuff like that. Have they passed the background check? Where do they service people? And then also we'll list all of their reviews so that the potential lead can actually go through and read those reviews. And we'll get into that a little more here on how you can set up your dashboard for success in Google Local Service ads.
And so let's ask everyone now, everyone who's on here, is anyone using Google Local Service ads already? Google Guaranteed. Alyssa, Anna, Bruce, Garen, Matthew, maybe Shelby, Terry, William. Let us know in the chat if you're using Google Local Services, and maybe some of the results that you're getting. Garen isn't using it, and then as we go along here, make sure that we're always available in the question and answer section. So if you have any questions as we're going along, drop them in the Q&A section, and we'll get those answered for you. So
yep, definitely.
Yeah, Shelby says no, they're not using it yet. So great. Glad to have everyone on here that we're getting a good chance to get this get you guys started and give you a good base for this. Bruce says they filled out the background check part. They're just waiting to be approved. That's awesome, Bruce. Good job on getting that process started. So there is a process to it, right? There is a process to it. So it takes a little bit to get into this. So.
And a quick fact to mention, it is relatively new in the roofing industry, probably within the last year that it's really been showing up.
Yeah.
So Google's been testing this for a while, mainly with like other services like plumbing and locksmiths and stuff like that. But they're finally rolling it out into this roofing industry here.
Shelby says they're using Home Advisor and hate it. So this is a potential another option that you could put those budgets into for these Google Local Service ads. So
this Google's Home Advisor.
Yeah, it's Google's Home Advisor essentially. Yeah. All right, so back to it, Brian.
All right, so why does Google Local Service ads, why do they matter? What can they do for you? So 87% of consumers that search for Google are 87% of consumers that are searching Google are looking for a home service provider. So they're going to go to Google and they're going to look for roofing contractors in your city. Majority of these people that are searching, they're in they have buyer intent. They're ready to go. They're just looking for someone to figure out who to get an estimate from. It's the number one place your customers are looking for when they need services. I mean, you already knew that. Google's, most of the searches today are going through Google. There's obviously, Bing and a few other search engines, but, most of that traffic is coming to Google to search for it. And like I mentioned before, local service ads, they come up first in the search results. So it's the first thing people see on desktop. It's the first thing people see, especially on mobile. They take up so much space on your mobile device. If you just pull out your phones right now and just search, roofing contractors near me, you see how much space these ads actually take up. So that's another reason why it's so important if you can just get listed up top there. And there's really no higher intent prospect than the customers actually proactively looking for your services at this moment in time. And again, that's what Google is there for. People that are searching for, I need to find a roofing business near me. They're in that mode to buy. They can become a potential lead pretty quickly.
Yeah, high commercial intent, and that the other point of that, like we on this slide, Google is the number one place, and 87% of consumers go to Google when they're looking for a home service provider, right? And so you have to be there. You have to be proactively marketing your services, and taking up as much of the search engine results page as possible. This is one section that you can get your business in. So, but this is where people are going. But you must have a plan to win, right?
Yep. And, one way to do that is with Google Local Services. So let's dig into that a little bit further here. So where is it active today? Like I mentioned earlier, they just rolled this out. It's not very old at this point, but they have, you will see this in most cities across the United States. Some of the smaller, more rural areas, you may not see it yet, but trust me, they're getting there. So it'll be pretty much everywhere very soon. So how does it impact search results? As I said before, these sit up at the very, very top. And if we kind of go back and look at what a Google search engine result page looks like, this image is going to give you really that breakdown again. Up at the top, those top three, the Google Home or Google Local Service ads, they used to be called home service ads. Up at the top, there you're going to have that horizontal bar. That's going to be very top thing. So on mobile device, again, it's the first thing that's highlighted when you do a search. So after that, you're going to get Google AdWords, which is going to be the pay per click. You're going to pay every time someone clicks on your ad to go to your a page, and then hopefully it becomes a lead. After that, then you got your Google My Business, your Google Maps listings, which are again a very important part of the way we do things, our business. We see a lot of leads that come through there. We just did a webinar on that recently. If you want to go check that one out. And then beneath that, then you have the Google SEO or the Google organic listings. So, like Jim just mentioned, this is the Google Local Service Ads is one place to be, and it's a very prominent place up at the top. But there, it's a big page, so you want to be in as many places as possible. But just seeing how prominent these are at the top, that's just the big reason on why you want to be up at the top there.
One thing to note here is if you've noticed, before the Google Home Service ads, Google Guaranteed ads started showing up, is that there used to be 4 pay-per-click ads at the top of the page. So one pay-per-click, one Google AdWords spot has been removed to replace these. So the pay-per-click becomes more competitive in that to get to the top of page in that area too.
Absolutely. All right. So how do Google Local Service Ads work? So the first step, and I think Bruce just mentioned this, you got to complete the application that they provide for you. You can just go to, we'll provide the URL a little later here that you can go to. Then what Google's going to do is they're going to run a background check. They'll do for roofers, they're going to do a license check. They'll do an insurance verification and check. And then they also will run background checks via Pinkerton Consulting, and it's usually just on the owners of the company. And then once you're approved and and when you're active in your area, you're going to pay on a pay per lead basis. So this is a little different than Google AdWords. If any of you are running Google AdWords, you're going to pay per click. In this case, it's similar to Home Advisor in the sense that you're going to pay for every lead that actually comes through your dashboard. And right now, I mean, we've seen lead prices, they're going to vary. It's going to depend on, your service area, how competitive it is, and how many people are actually signed up in your area. But we've seen leads as between $40 to $60 per lead. And that's right now. So expect those prices to, shift upwards over time as more people get involved with Google local service ads. But right now, you really have a great opportunity to get in on this. So let's check out this next slide here. So as I mentioned just previously, this is the actual requirements for roofing contractors in the US. So, for background check, they're going to do a check on your business and on the owners. Then they're going to do the general liability insurance verification. And then depending on your state, they'll either do a business license check and owner license check. And then you do, in terms of like the overview of the services that they offer for these ads, you can actually select these, and we'll go through this in the dashboard in a second. You can do installs, you can do repairs, shingles, gutters, roof cleanings, all of those. You can select which types of leads you'd like to come in. So as we mentioned, so how you charge by local services, as I mentioned, it's a pay per lead. So first you would set a weekly budget. That's what Google's going to ask you for. In AdWords, they typically do like a monthly budget, but in Google local service ads, you're going to be setting a weekly budget that's going to limit the total number of leads that you're given in any given week. So, if you set $500 budget, and we'll give you an example here. If you set a $2,000 per month, if you have a $2,000 per month budget for these, so you'd set a $500 per week budget. So it's basically $100 per day. And say, the cost per lead is $50. It'd be 40 leads per month or 10 leads per week, or basically 2 per day. So once the budget's gone, it's gone. You go offline and you're not active in the local service ads up top anymore. So you might get a different number of leads from day to day, but Google's never going to spend more than that designated weekly budget that you've set. And the nice thing about, and again, a lot of lead services have this, but the nice thing about this is Google, you do have the ability to immediately dispute those leads if they come in and the lead's not a valid actual lead. And they're usually pretty good about giving the refund on that. So like what types of leads don't count? Obviously solicitation types leads, it was a wrong number. Somebody was calling you to sell a product or service that had nothing to do with, what you're doing. Call was seeking employment. Caller didn't even mention your business, stuff like that. Any type of spam. Obviously they're not going to charge you for that. If the customer communicates their location in the call and the location isn't actually listed on your dashboard or in your profile, and you couldn't do the job because of that, obviously, they're not going to charge you for that type of lead. And then also, if the service that the potential lead is inquiring about is not something that you do, they're again not going to charge you for that, and you'll get a refund for that particular lead.
So here's a good tip for everyone when you're participating in this program. You can see here that this is how Google lists it out. The customer communicated their location, and their location wasn't listed on your profile and declined the job. So make sure that in your answering of these calls and talking to these consumers, that you're asking these questions on the call. Where are you located? Where's the property located that you want us to do an estimate on? And making sure that that is communicated through in the phone call, which is recorded. Then you'll have proof to go back to Google and say, hey, they're outside of my service area. Or again, with the service not offered, if you sign up for a repair lead and it's an installation lead, then you can dispute that. But you have to make sure that you have the person on the phone communicate what they are looking for and where they are looking to get the work done, to be able to dispute that in an easier manner with Google.
Exactly. So some feedback from some active users that we've had, some of our clients that are running it. It is right now a lower cost per lead than pay-per-click, so lower cost than AdWords. Do we expect that to be forever? No. The quality of leads is definitely higher than Home Advisor. And I mean, the reason for this is it's people that are searching on Google for these particular services. The customer intent is high, and people are already calling that are actually calling you already know who your company is. The problem with Home Advisor is people are submitting a request for an estimate, and they don't actually know the people that are actually going to get in touch with them until after they submit that information. So the cost, and then you're also getting 3 to 4 different contractors that are calling you at the same time. So that's the real big difference between Home Advisor and Google Local Service Ads. So obviously you're still going to get some price shoppers. I mean, it's just what it is. I mean, not everybody's going to be a super hot lead, but that's just it's just the way it is, and you just got to follow up quickly and just make sure you're on top of things when you're talking to these people. And again, keeping them in your pipeline to follow up with them later if they're not an active lead at that particular moment in time. And so we're really seeing a solid return on investment from most of the clients who have jumped on board on this right now. It's in its infancy. So if you can get in early, the cost per lead is going to be lower, and you're definitely going to get a better ROI. Again, depending on which city you're in. So let's really talk about why this is it's basically a no-brainer for most roofing contractors to sign up for this. Like I said before, you're showing up at the top of the search results where your clients are looking. A lot of people don't even scroll, past especially on a mobile phone, they're not going to even scroll that much. They're going to see what's at the top and they're going to click on it. You're only paying per lead. Again, you're not paying per click. The problem with, a lot of people when they do AdWords, if they don't have someone that really knows what they're doing, might burn through a lot of money from people just clicking on the ads and not converting into a lead. And again, right now, lower costs, the cost is just lower than PPC, pay-per-click at the moment. So get in right now. I mean, you're going to get higher quality leads, and it's just, like Shelby said, I'm not a fan of Home Advisor. These leads are going to be a lot better than Home Advisors. And again, you have the ability to modify your budget, based on the schedule. Your schedule based on your budgetary needs. You can increase, decrease as needed. Very easy to do that in your dashboard. So let's talk about how to get set up on the Google Local Services. Let's kind of dive in here. So first off, a little plug here, but if you work with us, we will help you get set up, and we'll help you with this whole entire process. And even if you don't work with us, I mean, we're happy to answer questions along the way. Always feel free to shoot us, email or whatever. But we'll definitely take you through that process. All you need to do is go to ads.google.com/local-services-ads. Click on the sign up button, and you can kind of start filling everything out and get started. It's very simple. Ideally, one thing we've noticed is one thing I would definitely recommend you do is make sure you're signed into your actual, if you have an AdWords account or a Google My Business account, make sure you're signed into that account when you sign up for it. We've had some issues with that in the past where people sign up on their personal emails and then everything gets all messed up. So just try to make sure that you do that first before you actually sign up. And so when you sign up, this is kind of what that screen looks like. It's kind of welcome you. It's going to kind of tell you the steps. They're going to check your eligibility. Sign into that existing Google account again, create your ads, upload your license and insurance details, and then they'll start running those background checks and verifications. We're seeing a time typically of, it can be quick sometimes, like a week or two. Other times we've seen it take, a month or more. So it just depends on, how busy they are and, what issues may or may not come up when they're running your background check. So like I said, as we've been saying all along, do this as soon as possible, because the sooner the better that you sign up, the sooner you'll get approved and you'll be running those ads. So, like Google Ads, like Google Maps SEO, there is an algorithm for the way that they determine who shows up in the local service ads. So you can't just press go and expect to be the number one guy or number one business showing up every single time. There is a ranking system on how this actually works, and we'll kind of run through that here. So similar to Google Maps, as we mentioned last time, your proximity of your actual business location to the potential customers' locations or where they're searching from does have still a pretty big factor in this. So if you're in one city and the other city you're trying to target is 20 miles away, it's unlikely if there's already people that are running local service ads in that area, it's unlikely you will probably show up in the Google local service ads, unless the competition is very, very little. Your review score, so the number of reviews that you already have on your actual Google My Business profile, which most of you hopefully already have filled out, and then also the number of verified reviews that you get through Google local service ads. These are two separate things, but they all kind of merge into one. We'll go through that again in the dashboard a little bit later. And then also your responsiveness to customer inquiries and requests. So are you replying to the reviews? Are you following up with these customers, after they talk to you? That is something that they take into account. So obviously your business hours, if you are open 8 to 5 and you're not able to answer the phone after that, and your ads are turned off, they're not going to show up. So you're not going to be showing up, at that particular time. And whether or not, the other one is whether or not Google's received serious or repeated complaints about your business. That is a huge factor. If Google starts to get, even 1 or 2 of them that come in, you can actually lose that Google guaranteed status. So, it's very important that you take customer service seriously. And then in addition to these ranking factors, Google's is going to attempt to spread out the leads that you receive over time. And this is all going to come back to your budget. So this is to prevent you from spending that entire budget in the entire period. So, if your ad's generating leads really quickly and your budget can accommodate it, they'll keep sending them to you. But, if you're starting to run low on budget, they're going to start to space out the times that your ads are visible, and you may or may not see yourself, in those ads on a more consistent basis. So we'll talk about budget here in a second too, but higher budget you have, the more likely you are to be showing.
So part of this is, some things I want to have people think about. This is very new. It's not going to be, the end all be all of your business if you get signed up with this, but it's another good lead source for your business. So I want to make that clear that, it's not going to be the everything, right? But it's something that's very important. Google is also starting to show these Google guarantees in stranger places. There's been word that they've been testing them in the maps section and showing that your Google guaranteed badge with your maps listing. That's been something that we've seen across the SEO professionals that we talking about. Another thing that has happened is that in locksmithing, in the locksmith industry and the garage door repair industry, they're making people sign up for Google Guaranteed and go through this background check process just to run pay-per-click advertising. So, these are all potential things that Google might do in the future. So there's a future things that Google might do with this Google Guaranteed program that if you get in early, it's going to be a great thing for you. The lead cost is lower now, but it's not going to be the end all be all of everything. So Brian, you wanted to look, are we going to go live and through an account right now? Is that what you'd like to do?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Again, if anyone has any questions, drop them in the question and answer section or in the chat. Garen has a question here. Does budget roll over to the next week, or is it a use it or lose it deal?
I think it's typically a use it or lose it deal.
Yeah. So if you have a $500 budget for that week and you don't spend all 500, you won't. They won't take $500 for you. Let's say the leads are $50 and you have a budget of $500, but you only got 5 leads. So Google will only charge you that $250. So then you can make adjustments in your back end to adjust your budgets accordingly and say, oh, well, I didn't spend it last week, so maybe I'll bump my budget to $750 this week. So those are things that you could do it in the background. And I think you have mouse control. Let me see if you can move that mouse around. Doesn't look like it. Let me try and give it to you again. All right. Should have it now. Looks like it. Yep. Looks like you got it.
All right. 1 sec here. All right. All right, so this is what the Google Local Service Ads dashboard looks like once you're signed in. And so in order to kind of go through this here, there's a few different sections. So if you click up in this, go through the dashboard first up top here on the left, you're going to see a couple different sections. So you got your leads dashboard, there's reports, then there's your reviews dashboard, and then the profile and budget where you'll fill out, what kind of business you are and all that sort of information about your business. And then you got billing as well. So let's just kind of go through all of these dashboards, and I'm going to go through the report section first here. So the report section is basically this. I mean, it's basically going to say, how many leads have come in, how much have you spent of your budget, and then your booking percentage. And the booking percentage is not something that they're going to mark for you. Obviously, you have to go in manually. Someone has to go into your dashboard and actually, mark each of the leads. If you book them as an estimate, then you actually go in there and you mark it as booked. And this does seem to have an effect on the algorithm that they have. So it's definitely something you want to do, and it's also for your own benefit. So make sure that you do that. And this dashboard, it's pretty helpful. I mean, you can go through everything in terms of the actual leads that you have, and you can edit your budget through there. Very easy to kind of run through that. So if we go to the reviews section here. So the reviews section is going to show, they're going to pull in all of your reviews from your Google My Business dashboard from before. So they're actually going to pull all those in. So if you had 82, these guys had 82 reviews from Google My Business that they pulled in. And then in here, you can actually push out requests for, if some leads came through the Google local ads, like these ones that came through over the last couple of weeks here, you can actually ask for a review. So if you click on that, you can actually ask for a review from the customer through this dashboard. And this is actually, it's kind of weird because they've actually combined everything from Google My Business and Google Local Service Ads. But if you ask for a review through Google Local Service Ads and they actually provide one, Google will actually mark it as a verified Google review, that it actually came through this dashboard, and it marks up with a checkbox. So that actually does help you with the ranking in the Google local ads, but it won't show up on your Google My Business profile like in the map section. So a little bit confusing, but definitely something that if a lead comes through this dashboard and it was a good one, you booked the job with them, you did a great job, ask them for a review, make sure that they leave it through this dashboard here. So let's go over to kind of the most important section. I think I forgot to show the leads section first, actually. So this is the leads section. So it's just going to show you the leads that came in, which ones were active. the booked, completed, and then they get archived after a little while. These guys have their ads off right now just because they've been so busy with storm damage stuff. But you can go through this dashboard. You can actually listen to the recordings, the call recordings, and see if it was a good call. You can dispute them. You can mark them as booked. You can do all that stuff in the leads dashboard right here. So my recommendation is if you are running this on a weekly basis, have someone come into your dashboard every week and just review everything. Mark the leads as if they were a good lead, and mark them if they were a poor lead, and dispute it with Google. So let's kind of go through the profile section of Google Google Local Service Ads. And the reason I want to go through this is because a lot of the times we see contractors that are running Google Local Service Ads, but they don't have this profile section filled out properly. And because of that, they're likely losing visibility, first off, but also potentially the ability to turn that into a lead when people click on their dashboard. So first thing I want to talk about is the budget. And I think it was Garen that mentioned, does it roll over to the next week? So if you edit the budget, right now these guys have it set to $1,000 average weekly budget, which Google's gonna then give you kind of an estimate on the number of leads you can potentially get with that $1,000 monthly or weekly budget. What we've seen is that you likely won't get that amount of leads. It's just that's where I would say be as aggressive as possible with your budget. You can slide the scale up, you can slide it down. See what you can do. It's unlikely that you'll actually spend this much unless there's some crazy storm or something like that. But be aggressive with this, because the more aggressive you are, the more likely your ad is going to show up top. Because like I said before, they're going to try and space it out over time. So the more aggressive you can be with your weekly budget, the more likely you're going to be visible, more likely you're going to get a lead. So just take a look at that when you're in there and set it appropriately. All right. Before I even go in, anybody got any questions along the way here? Again, feel free to ask. I'm happy to run through that with you. So the next type would be the job type. So right here, you can edit the actual types of leads that are going to come into your through your your Google Local Ads profile. So if people type in roof repair in your city and you don't have roof repair selected, you won't show up for that particular search query or anything related to it. And also, if anything did slip through and into a call recording and it was more about roof repair, you could use that as ammo against Google to tell them, we didn't actually sign up for roof repair leads, so they won't do that. So you can actually, go through all these categories. There's a few of them. I mean, you got attic venting, gutter repair, roof inspection, roof repair, skylight repair, gutters, roof damage installation, and then they even have like the roof and skylight cleaning, gutter cleaning type stuff. So you can mark whatever you'd like to do and whatever job types that you actually service. Just make sure you select the correct ones. So you're not missing out on leads or accidentally getting leads for services that you don't provide. All right. Let's see here. So business information, and that's going to be up top here. Oops. Screen is a little finicky. All right. So business information, it's really going to be just selecting. Google gives you the opportunity to select 6 different characteristics of your business and kind of tell your customers, have them resonate with your business on what you provide. So they give you these options here, like GAF Master Elite Contractor. Are you GAF certified? You offer financing. How many years in business you are you locally, family owned? So just be careful on the ones you select. I would do ones that are more going to resonate with potential homeowners. Family, locally owned, those seems to be the big ones. Do you offer financing? Workmanship, lifetime guarantees, warranties, those are big. That's what people look for. So when you're selecting the 6 things that Google allows you to select, keep that in mind. when you're selecting those ones. And then there is additional highlights that Google can verify for you, such as being Better Business Bureau accredited. Do you have an A+ rating with them, and a few other things. So, make sure you fill that out completely and you mark ones that, again, resonate with potential leads. And then moving into another section that is very powerful here, that, again, a lot of people, when they do local services ads, they forget to fill out or update at least, is this photos section here. And the reason we mention this is because when people click on, and I don't know, I could actually pull this up on Google. Can I do that, Jim? I don't know.
Yeah, let me, I'll just pull it up real quick.
I type in roofing contractor, Minneapolis or something like that. All right. So yeah, so if you click on prominent here, it will actually take you to their kind of dashboard page, and you'll see that it has that photo that appears right there, just of a job that they did. That's important because it allows the customer to see some photos, and what we might even want to do is change that out with some more. I think they haven't been updated because we just recently put some photos in there too. You might want to have one of your team or something along those lines. But some of those other guys, if you click on there, I don't know, there might be one or two of them, but if you click on there and they don't have any photos in there, there's just nothing there. They got their logo at least, but we've seen a number of them where they just don't even have any photos, and nothing pops up, and that's going to turn people away. So make sure that you're updating your photos in the photo section. Get some pictures of your work. Make sure you have your logo or like a team photo, I would think would be the best thing to do as your cover photo. You have the ability to select your cover and logo photos. So that would probably be the best option to do, just because, again, it's going to resonate with potential leads the most. Give it that authenticity. If you have, pictures of your jobs, pictures of your team, the pictures of the owners, stuff like that. So keep that in mind again, and make sure you fill that out. Put in as many photos as you can, or as many photos that look legitimate at least. So the other section then, to the right of the photos, is going to be the service areas section. And do you have control, Jim?
I think you got it. You got it?
Yeah.
There you go.
So if you edit the service areas section, and again, this is another one that contractors, when they fill this out, they do it briefly, but they don't think about the consequences. When you're filling out your service area, make sure you select the cities and the zip codes that you service. Obviously, that's very important. You don't want to be missing some of the cities that you're not servicing, but also take into account the cities and areas that you really don't want to service. Obviously, there's certain areas of every city that maybe that people have higher budgets in certain areas, and that might be where you want to target. And there's certain areas that you don't want to target. You can exclude those certain areas, and that's another thing just to take into account, because you can burn your budget on areas where you really don't want to service, or where the job cost might be very minimal. So stuff like that, take that into consideration. Exclude the places and the zip codes of the cities that you don't want to service, and include the ones that you do want to service. So just be very granular when it comes to service area. And then the last thing I really take into account is your business hours. So your ad schedule. So these guys are running their ads 8 to 5, because that's when they're able to answer the phone. Just remember though, when it's past 5 o'clock, your ad is not going to be showing up the top anymore. So you're not going to get any calls. So if you are available to answer the phone, I would say have your business hours set to the time that someone can answer the phone. Even if you have a call service or something like that, make sure that your ad hours are set to that, so you have the better chance of being visible and getting that lead. Obviously, make sure you have someone that can close the deal, but take that in consideration. So that's pretty much the dashboard on the local service ads end. Anyone have any questions on that during the brief time I ran through it? feel free to put it in the box, and then we can probably head back over to the
All right.
PowerPoint here. So as I just covered, how to win with local service ads, dial in your service area, your profile, your budget, mark your jobs as booked. And I didn't really go through that, but have someone that goes into the dashboard. And if you book a job, mark it as booked. It might not be a thing yet, but I do see that as being kind of something that's telling Google that you're active in the dashboard, and you want to actually keep your booking rate high. I would think that's going to help you in the algorithm and in the reporting. It's just going to allow them to, again, see that you're active, and they likely will keep you more visible longer. Deal with any disputes. So if you listen, you can actually listen to every single call, mark it as a disputed call if it's not a good lead, and likely Google will refund you. And then, as I mentioned briefly, drive those verified reviews if you can inside the dashboard. So if a job, happened, go in there and request a review from your actual dashboard, and you'll get that little you'll get a little check mark next to the review that says verified review. I think we have a little image in the slide here on what that looks like. But and then again, try to target an 85% booking rate, and we'll go through that here in a second. So again, dial in that profile. As I just went through everything, fill all of that out to its maximum potential. It's just going to help you become more visible and more likely to convert, that click into a job. And then let's see here. So we went through all that, setting your budget. Again, open up that budget, be as aggressive as possible. Update your ad schedule, business file, select your job types, and be granular with your service area. And then again, remember to update those business hours for the times that people can answer the phone, and photos, obviously. And this section in your leads dashboard, make sure you mark your jobs as booked. Google will rate your responsiveness by how well you complete your job. So make sure you mark them as booked or scheduled. Add the customer details, include an email address. That's just, again, telling Google that you're being responsive in this dashboard, and they're more likely to show you. And then if you didn't actually convert it into a lead, mark it as so, and you can actually archive those, so Google knows that you didn't convert them. Remember, Google is a data-backed company, so the more information you provide them, the more likely that they're going to respond with, not only making you more visible, but they're going to help you get better leads in the future too. Same goes with marking those disputes. I mean, obviously you don't want to pay for a lead that doesn't have anything to do with the service that you provide, so make sure you mark those. And then driving verified reviews is the next one. This is another thing I mentioned. Again, if you have something that if you have a customer that you did the estimate or did the job for, and they're happy, ask for the review through this dashboard. If you go to the next slide, you kind of see what those look like. Well, that's after this one, but again, number of reviews is a major driver. So you can see that it says Google verified job, the type of job, it was roof installation or it was roof repair. And those actually show up at the top when people click on your Google local ad listing, if people find you in the search results. And that does actually help you in the algorithm in terms of ranking compared to your competitors. So make sure you get as many of those Google verified jobs as possible and ask for those reviews. So again, it requires some due diligence. You're going to have to go into your dashboard and you're going to have to mark this stuff down. But if you're doing it, it's going to give you a better opportunity of getting better leads. And then finally, that booking rate, again, that's just something that Google's going to take into consideration. Try to shoot for an 85% booking rate. Obviously, that's not going to always be possible, but make sure you're going in there. Open up your budget. Expand your service areas. Get the job types, the ad schedule, business hours. Close out every lead. Again, doing all of these things that we're talking about here. Not to be repetitive, but if you do all of these things, you're going to have a better chance of succeeding with Google local service ads. So what should you do now? Get with your strategy partner on our team. You can talk to us, talk to myself, talk to Jim, or go to ads.google.com and sign up yourself. Very easy again. It's just gonna, you're gonna have to do the background checks, and you're gonna have to, get verified. And then after that, you really want to put some tracking in place to gauge your return on investment. This Google local ads. Same goes with, any type of service you get, any type of marketing, pay-per-click ads. If you're doing SEO, you want to know what your return on investment is. So make sure you have someone into the dashboard that's marking these jobs as booked, as disputing them if they're not correct. Make sure the tracking's in place to gauge that ROI. And like I said, just be sure you're leveraging that platform. Mark them as booked. Update it on a regular basis. And then just play the game while the ROI makes sense. I mean, if the ROI is not working out for you with Google local service ads, don't do it. I mean, it's just the same thing as pay-per-click. You got to test it though to know. So, and right now we're seeing great ROI just because the lead cost is so low. So again, get in on it while it's going. And Jim, why don't you finish it off here with the.
Yeah, so this is all, like we said in the beginning, part of our education series for our the digital dominance method for roofing contractors, how to best generate more sales online through your digital marketing efforts. And so if anyone else has any questions, please submit them. Please drop them in the chat here. Bruce actually had a question that he might have missed it. How long did it take to get approved once you submitted the background check on average? We've seen that from
like 1 to 2 weeks sometimes, and then we've had a couple people that have taken months. That was just because they ran into issues with the background checks and stuff. So
licensing checks. So getting them the information that they need as quickly as possible is a good thing. Making sure that you're responding to any requests that Google needs to get that ongoing. On the subject of call recording and leads, Garen's asking, if I'm away from my desk and someone leaves a voicemail, will those be recorded also and count as leads?
Yes, they will.
Yes, they will be counted as leads. So
it actually would be lucky if they left a voicemail, because then you actually have something. If they request a roof repair and you don't do that, I mean, then you can dispute it with Google. But if you just miss the call entirely and they don't leave a voicemail, they'll charge you for the lead.
Yeah. So again, with a lot of these paid advertising techniques, with these Google local service ads, with pay-per-click marketing, when you're paying per lead, paying per click, if it's Home Advisor, or even if it's Porch, or any of these other lead provider services out there, anytime you are paying specifically for that lead, that call right then, make sure you have someone answering the phone. If you're not able to answer the phone, maybe it forwards to another person in your office. Maybe it forwards to an answering service, something like that, to make sure that call gets answered and that the person actually gets someone on the phone when they're talking to you. So, or to talk to someone on the phone with your company. So that's all great. If keep the questions coming if anyone has any. We're kind of coming up on our hour here. We don't want to take up too much of your time on this Friday. We really, truly appreciate that you're able to share this time with us. Again, the mission of our company is to help roofing contractors generate more sales online through their digital marketing efforts. And, if you ever want to talk to us about how we might be able to help you on our agency side, feel free to set up a free lead flow acceleration session. We'll go through your website. We'll go through all of the digital marketing efforts that you're putting forth. And kind of show you maybe what you're doing, what you're lacking in here or there, and how you might be able to improve some of those things, how we do things, and how we can maybe help you improve those things. So you can call us directly anytime, 855-799-1252, and go to roofermarketers.com/apply. You can always go to our website. We have great training guides on a lot of this stuff. Go to our YouTube channel. Check out the past webinars. Some of the webinars, if you don't have an hour, we've cut them down into smaller bits and pieces, so you can kind of go through a little bit at a time on some of these things. And we'd love to talk to you. We don't on these Google local services ads, it's not, something that we get paid on it. We don't get a cut from Google or any of that stuff. So it's just helping you guys get set up in this and do it properly, help you win with these Google local service ads. So feel free to contact us. It doesn't look like there's any more questions coming in. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you for everyone's time today. We really appreciate it. Thanks for everybody's comments, Bruce, Garen, Shelby. Thanks for all you guys' time. Thanks for participating with us, and let us know if you need anything.
Thanks, guys.